Imagine walking through your favorite border town, where shops once bustling with Canadians now sit eerily empty. From Buffalo to Detroit, Niagara Falls to Blaine, Washington, entire neighborhoods feel like ghost towns. And the shocker? This wasn't caused by a recession, a natural disaster, or a sudden policy change inside the United States. It's Canada, a neighbor so familiar that no one anticipated it could deliver such a staggering economic blow. Since Donald Trump returned to the Oval Office in 2025, Canadian visits to the US have plummeted by 35%. That's millions of trips disappearing almost overnight, leaving businesses scrambling to survive. Small shops, outlet malls, duty free stores, once the heartbeat of border economies, are now fighting to stay afloat. For American business owners, this isn't a minor setback, it's an existential crisis unfolding in real time. RBC Economics reports that Canadians made 25.4% fewer return trips in 2025 than the year before, a staggering drop of 7.4 million visits. And it's not slowing down. January 2026 showed a 23% year over year contraction, marking the 13th consecutive month of decline. What started as a reaction to a perceived hostile U.S. stance has turned into something far more serious, a structural economic shift. But what sparked this unprecedented boycott? It began the moment Trump took office, with his aggressive rhetoric toward Canada. Canadians didn't wait for official policy. They organized themselves. Social media campaigns under the hashtag #BuyCanadian went viral, transforming from a trend into a movement, and from a movement into a long-lasting economic force. These aren't temporary emotions fading over time. Canadians are actively reshaping their spending habits, favoring domestic destinations and supporting local businesses. The impact is devastating for U.S. border communities. Outlet malls sit empty, downtown districts look hollowed out, and duty free shops report revenue collapses exceeding 80%. Jobs are vanishing. Downtown streets, once lively, now echo the silence of lost commerce. And this is more than economics, it's political seismic activity. With the 2026 midterms approaching, Republican strongholds in Michigan, Vermont, New York, Washington, and North Dakota are facing voter discontent fueled by economic hardship. Trump's policies toward Canada have unexpectedly become a weapon against his own party's prospects. Consider Michigan, where Detroit and Windsor share one of the most intertwined cross border economies in the world. Auto parts move back and forth multiple times a day. Families span both countries. The economic damage caused by the Canadian boycott isn't abstract, it's personal. Workers lose hours, businesses lose revenue, and voters feel the consequences firsthand. Democratic strategists have seized on this narrative, framing a simple yet powerful message. Trump attacks Canada, Canadians stop spending, local jobs are lost. The clarity resonates with voters, and the political fallout is already reshaping campaign strategies. Meanwhile, Canada isn't merely defending itself, it's thriving in unexpected ways. Domestic travel rose 10% between early 2024 and late 2025, and the tourism sector expanded 4.8%, even as the broader economy contracted. International travelers choosing Canada over the United States surged 12.6% in February 2026. Canadians have built resilient alternatives, offsetting economic shocks while redefining consumption patterns. Prime Minister Mark Carney's administration has framed this not as a temporary protest, but as a long-term strategic realignment. Buy Canadian isn't just a slogan, it's an economic shield. The larger lesson is profound. Trust, the invisible glue that binds cross-border commerce, takes decades to build, but can be eroded in months. The assumption that Canada and the US would always operate in seamless integration has been shattered. Trump may have underestimated Canadian resolve, but Carney's disciplined strategy, eschewing confrontational rhetoric, focusing on resilience, encouraging diversification, has fundamentally altered the playing field. Even if tomorrow saw a diplomatic reconciliation, much of the damage is permanent. Canadian consumers, businesses, and travelers have discovered alternatives that work, and they're unlikely to reverse course. American border economies face enduring challenges, and Republican candidates are forced into impossible political choices: defend Trump and risk alienating voters, or distance themselves and face primary backlash. Either way, the 2026 midterms could deliver a historic verdict. This story isn't just about numbers. It's about power, strategy, and the unexpected consequences of political decisions. It's about how an entire nation mobilized to protect its economic interests, and how that mobilization can reshape an election across the border. Canada's quiet economic resistance may well become a defining chapter in North American history, a demonstration of citizen driven impact and government foresight. So, as we watch border towns continue to struggle, as political campaigns pivot around these economic realities, and as international relations are quietly redefined, one question looms large. Can the United States recover this lost trust, or is this the beginning of a permanent realignment? And more importantly, what lessons will other nations take from Canada's example about the power of coordinated, strategic consumer action? The 2026 midterms are more than just an election. They're a referendum on policy, diplomacy, and the unforeseen consequences of leadership. As Canadians reimagine their spending habits, as border communities adjust to new economic realities, and as political narratives shift, one thing is clear: the map of North American influence is changing, and it happened faster than anyone could have imagined. What do you think will happen next? Will the US manage to rebuild trust with its northern neighbor, or are these changes here to stay? Comment below and join the discussion.